Okay, let's begin. Hi, I am Doreen Tannenbaum, the Strategic Initiatives and Communications Manager with Procurement Services. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be going over the use of a purchase order for covered services, followed by a presentation from one of our Supplier Showcase Platinum sponsors, Office Solutions. We will end each of the sessions today with questions and answers. The recording of today's session is going to be included in an email and also available on our website by the end of the week or early next week. So these slides are available now. So please access them from the calendar invite, and they're also on our training page of our website. Next slide, please. So you have access to training guides and videos available on the training section found at the top of the procurement website. I don't know if everyone's aware, but we also offer group and individualized training sessions by opening up a ServiceNow ticket. Stephanie Ching helps us with those and organizes some really great training tailored to your department. Can you please go to the next slide? We also host biweekly office hours every other Tuesday from 9 to 10 a.m. We invite you to join us with any of the questions you may have, or just watch us go through some live demos and website updates. Please send me an invite to be included in that calendar invite. We typically end the session early if we don't get any questions within the first 15 minutes, but we're always available for additional questions if you open up a ServiceNow ticket. I'm not going to turn it over to Snehal. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Doreen. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join this departmental buyers training. As I always mention in all my training sessions, just a very quick reminder for all of you to realize that the requirements that we have for any purchases is a responsibility of everybody on campus. And we all have to be aware of what we can or cannot do and how to correctly make the purchases. So, what you're seeing here on the screen are a few of the policies that we are required to comply by, but this is a very, very small subset of all the policies. We really have close to 30 to 40 different policies that we are really required to comply by. But I wanted to make sure that you all are aware that there are policies that we all need to comply by. Also, there is delegated authorities for people to make purchases or to sign contracts. It actually comes from the president of UCI to the chancellors. That's now then, passed on to different units and different folks. And so, just to be clear, the delegated authority to sign any contract is with central procurement. So please make sure that nobody in your units actually goes out and signs agreements, because they will be null and void if they were to be taken to the court of law. So please be mindful of that. Violating any of the federal or state laws or UC policies is a responsibility of every individual, as I mentioned, and not just central procurement. So another quick reminder for all of you to be mindful of that. Okay. Go to the next slide, please, Doreen. Yeah. So today's agenda is really focused on helping everybody get a good understanding of the use of purchase orders for covered services. This has been something that was sent to all the health card and corporate card holders as a communication based on an audit that was conducted by UCOP's auditing team and the instructions that came down from UCOP on how we are expected to handle those. And this training is to really provide more insights and clarification and answer any questions you may have following the communication that we had sent to everybody with the PAL card and corporate card recently. So that's the agenda. And then the second half of it is going to be where Office Solutions is going to actually provide a presentation to all of you as to what services they provide and what are the benefits and advantages that they bring to UCI. with that, let's go into the training session and talk about use of purchase orders for covered services. So if you go to the next slide, Doreen. One of the things that we found out that we had to address, and for those of you who do not know what covered services is, you should know, and you should probably go to our website and read up on covered services. There are about 11 different services that are being performed by AFSCME employees in the SX and EX um, job classifications that fall under covered services. And in 1919 to 2019, there was a policy that was rolled out by UCOP requiring us to utilize our internal staff members, AFSCME staff members for all SX and EX services. And so this policy has been in place for 5 years, more than 5 years. And yet we kind of continue to find challenges trying to adhere with those policies. That being the case, when the UCOP auditors conducted the audit, what they recognized and found was there was purchases made on PAL card and corporate card that potentially could have fallen under covered services. And because we don't have good measures to stop that purchase from happening prior to the services being provided, the management action plan, the corrective action plan that was sent from UCOP was not to utilize any PAL card or corporate card for these covered services. Two areas that were very prevalent in the use of PAL card and corporate card was some of the transportation services and full service catering. So those are the two things that we kind of have highlighted in our communication. This slide talks about what would be a covered service versus what services that transportation does not provide, and hence would not fall under covered services. So if transportation services is not providing any of these services, then it doesn't fall under covered services. And in that case, you do not need to utilize a PO to get an outside provider to provide those services. I don't intend to read each of these bullets, but essentially, at a high level, they don't provide services for minors. So anybody, I think, believe under the age of 18, they don't provide services. So schools, school students that come on campus, and there could be trips that could be
Snehal,
happening. Yes.
you froze for me. I don't know about everyone else. So if you can
Oh, I'll turn off my
repeat that
video.
section, maybe. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right.
Oh, maybe it's
Okay.
just my connection. Apologies. It
Okay.
looks like everybody else is okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Sorry to interrupt.
All right, no worries. Okay, so yeah, so minors, or they do not provide services for athletics teams, who are very, large users of transportation services. Um, and then, tour guides, they don't provide those services. So if any of these services are what you are looking for, you don't need to get any exceptional waivers from labor relations, and you can go ahead and utilize your PAL card or your corporate card, whatever is appropriate for these services. If you have any questions or don't know, go ahead and send an email to charterservices@uci.edu, and they'll be more than happy to help clarify whether what you are requesting falls under the covered services and whether they can provide those services or not. We do have folks from transportation and workforce relations in this session. So if you have any questions, we'll take those at the end, and we'll make sure that they also have an opportunity to answer or clarify any of your questions. Go to the next slide, Doreen. Yeah, so as I mentioned, corporate card may be used to pay for oh, a couple of things that we need to clarify in this situation is that work-related travel and transportation. So a lot of people were asking questions like, oh, but I have folks who have corporate cards and they go on business travel and they may be in a different city. Well, that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about services that are being provided to UCI, for events and things of that nature. So corporate card can still be used for the cardholders who have expenses for transportation that are legitimate business travel expenses. You cannot use a corporate card for somebody else who may be accompanying you on a business travel. So you have to keep that in mind, that you can use your corporate card for only your travel expenses. Next slide, please. Okay. So if transportation services can provide the services, you can coordinate with them to get those services performed. And you would be basically, be recharged for the services that they will provide. If something falls under a covered service and transportation cannot provide the service because of lack of staff available or lack of buses available, they will essentially decline to provide that service for that time that you need those services. And in those situations, you then can forward that email to workforce relations for them to then provide you with an exceptional approval. And with that, you can then utilize an outside provider to provide those services. And in that situation, you will have to use a purchase order and not use your corporate card. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, so that is about transportation services. This slide talks about full service catering, which is another area, as I mentioned, where people were utilizing their cards to maybe make advance payments to caterers for a particular event. And, that was causing issues because full service catering performed on any of the UC locations falls under covered services. And we were not catching those. And AFSCME had filed a lot of grievances against UC across many different campuses for not utilizing internal resources for these kind of services. So here are the steps that you need to perform if you're going to have full service catering for any event that is being hosted at a UC location. Please realize that events that are happening on off-site location that's operated or controlled by C does not fall under covered services. So if you're going to have an event happening at Hyatt Regency in Newport Beach, that is not a UC owned operated location. And so you don't need to worry adhering to covered services policy. Covered services applies to UC locations only. Okay. But so if it is in a UC location that you have an event and you want somebody to provide catering services, ideally you're supposed to use dining services, UCI dining for those services. If you end up having to use an outside service provider, then you have to still comply by the BUS 79 policy for entertainment. So if that event and the expenses fall under entertainment, you need to create a PO, but of course you have to get the wage and benefit parity because it's an exception to the covered services. The workforce relations provides you with wage and benefit parity amendment that needs to be signed by the supplier. And it could be anything, bilaterally signed agreement or just an order form with a PO. But the host certification form is one that you need to fill out, because that's one of those things required for entertainment. And here are all the various scenarios and the kind of documents you need for the different scenarios. So business meetings require business agenda, moral building events require designated additional approval, number of attendees and attendee list is something that you need to provide to travel and entertainment team for them to review and approve before the payments can be made. So the important thing here is that it's when the payment is due to the supplier, you need to have all of these documentation made available to travel accounting team for them to approve that this was a legitimate entertainment expense that you can actually pay for. Okay. So the difference is that this one applies for when the invoices have to be paid, and we are expecting that you would actually generate and create the PO for the events that you want to have. We don't want to hold up the event from taking place, even though you are going to be creating a PO for these services. But before making the payment to the supplier, you will have to have all the documentation and get confirmation from travel accounting that this is a legitimate business expense. Go to the next slide, Doreen. Okay, so the way it would work is that once you send all the required documentation to the travel accounting team, they will, if everything is in order, they will approve that payment. And once you have that, you can then send the invoice along with the approval from travel accounting and the PO number to accounts payable for them to go ahead and make the final payment. If you have any questions with regards to the BUS 79 or what falls under entertainment expenses, you can contact the travel accounting team, either Margaret or Justin, and they will be more than happy to help answer any questions. Next slide. Okay, so I went through all of this quickly because I know a lot of people will have a lot of questions, and I know that a lot of questions are popping up in the chat as I was talking. So I think that's why we have left the 10 minutes to go ahead and answer all the different questions that people have. Let's see how many we can
I'll
get to.
read the first one. Based on the purchasing methods guide, we do need to use a requisition for bus transportation. Is that changing? We have used a list of 3 companies that were approved to use PAL cards to purchase bus transportation, which went away when it was unclear about buses being a covered service.
Right. So if you are trying to use a transportation company for services that don't fall under covered services, or when the transportation services cannot provide you with the services at the time that you need them, you can use those companies. We actually, in procurement, are trying to execute contracts with these companies that you are referring to, and those have been most commonly used, so that we have a long-term agreement in place with them. We will have the wage parity in place with them, and all the requirements in place, so that when an exception is granted for you to use them, you can go ahead and use them without having to go through this whole exercise of getting the wage and benefit parity and all the other things. So that's what we are planning to do. Whether you can use a PAL card or not, as I mentioned, it really depends on if the services you're asking for falls under covered services or not. If it does not fall under covered services, as I mentioned, you can use your PAL card. If it falls under covered services, you have to use a PO to get those services. I hope that helps answer your question.
We had another
Next question. You read, Doreen.
Yes, I had TDS decline transportation service because they didn't have enough vans and couldn't deliver to the drop-off location. But I was still denied a covered service exemption because I initially had fewer than 40 people. What are we to do in such instances?
In those instances, you actually, if the justification is there from TDS that they cannot provide the services, then workforce relations should grant you the exception and work with you to get the wage and benefit parity in place, and use a PO for making the payment for those services. Kyle, you want to chime in on that? By the way, Kyle Chow is the one who is now managing and handling all our Article 5 and Policy 5402 matters, and he's the one who is reviewing and approving all the exceptions for these covered services. So, Kyle, is my statement accurate that you would grant the exception if that was the case?
Yeah, so I review and approve all of the requests that come through. So I believe so, but it also depends on like what TDS gives us guidance sometimes too, because like Lisa Gall was saying, they only have one driver per buses for over 8 passengers. So the capacity is very limited. And the problem I'm also having right now, to be quite frank with everybody, I don't have a service provider for transportation that's willing to cover us right now. I'm actively working on it. I'm hopeful that I have something going in the works, but as of right now, I don't have anybody that can help service us at this point.
Thanks, Kyle. This is Brandon. I work in transportation and distribution services. I do want to put on the record, we do have more than one Class B driver. They are on different schedules, and we work based on their availability. So we go through each and every request on its own, individually, and if it's within a covered service, I speak with the drivers and determine their availability to see if that's something that we can accommodate.
Thanks for the clarification, Brandon. My apologies.
All right. I'm going to read the questions in the chat first, Cheryl, and I'll get right to your question. Quick question, if we're getting transportation for minors and using the approved 3 companies, do we still need to ask to have our PAL cards coded for them? And Anita has answered from the PAL card team, please reach out to PAL card as we would need to temporarily code for buses. So yes, you can. We had another question come in. I was told by TDS that they only have one driver for buses over 8 passengers. Is this still true? And if so, will they be getting more drivers so they can accommodate us better? So Brandon, I think that one's for you.
Yes. Yeah, as I just said, we do have more than one Class B driver, and we are able to accommodate most of the requests that I've been receiving.
Wonderful. We had another direct message to me. Can we continue to process a PO even for transportation for minor instead of PAL card? Or would that not be approved? Thank you.
It would be approved. It's not like you cannot use a PO. If you prefer to use a PO, that's always acceptable. There's no reason why we don't allow people to use POs for any purchase. If you prefer to use a PO instead of a PAL card, that's your choice.
And we will be updating the purchasing methods guide if it's not already. I think it was already updated last week. Another question, is covered services applicable to Irvine Barkley Theater?
So Irvine Barkley Theater is not operated by UCI. It's leased out to a Irvine company, I believe, or somebody else. And so covered services do not apply at Irvine Barkley Theater location.
And we had another question. If travelers can only use their corporate card for their own travel, does this mean they cannot share an Uber with another UCI traveler? With the 4-person threshold for covered services, can one traveler use their corporate card to pay for an Uber ride shared with 5 other employees? Margaret, are you on the call? Can you please answer that one for us?
Sure, I'll talk to Robert off to the side because this really doesn't have anything to do with covered services. So Robert, I will call you.
Okay, thank you.
Correct. Yeah, so just for the benefit of everybody else, as we had mentioned, the 4-person threshold is for covered services. When somebody is using their corporate card when they're on a business travel, covered services does not come into play at all. And so the use of corporate card is fine for their Uber rides. And, can they use it for rides that are shared with other folks? Margaret, if you can answer that question. By the way, Margaret, as you all probably know, is in travel accounting, and she's the one who answers all questions. So if you can just provide that answer, maybe it will benefit everybody else as well. If somebody's sharing a ride, Uber ride with others, they can use their corporate
Yes, so if somebody is actually traveling
ride.
with the group, they can, and they are going on the ride with them, they can use their corporate card to pay for that Uber ride. That is acceptable.
All right, good, thank you. All right, I know somebody had their hand up.
Cheryl did, yes. Cheryl, go ahead and unmute, please.
Yeah, I just wanted some clarity again, because I was the one who posted about the I had a conference that I needed transportation from a hotel to campus. I had initially less than 40 people. It was denied by TDS, and I still didn't get the covered service exemption. So because, as Kyle said, there aren't any other vendors, and for something like that, if I have 30 attendees, what I was told by TDS is they can't guarantee that they'll have a driver available, so they can't commit, which isn't really acceptable for getting 30 people back and forth to campus. So can someone just explain what we're supposed to do in a circumstance like that, where we have to get people to and from campus, but there isn't a vendor out there that we can contract with? So what exactly are we supposed to do?
Hi, Cheryl. Yeah, I'm actively working trying to get a supplier onboarded with us to be approved. The previous suppliers I was talking to originally did not agree to our terms. So I am trying very hard to get us someone that can cover us in the meantime.
Okay, so right now there's nothing we can do then. So we just have people Uber? Is that the advice then?
Maybe that's, if you don't have a company that is willing to provide that service, maybe that's what you may end up doing.
Okay, we had another question come in. If a department is hosting a conference and would like to get transportation for the speaker, a private driver to transfer between UCI to and from another university, are we able to use a Pell card since it is just for one person? We don't have Jennifer on today. We can get back to you.
Anita, do you have the answer to that?
Sorry, my computer froze just now. Can you
It's in the chat, Anita. Yes, it's if a department is hosting a conference and would like to get transportation for the speaker, a private driver, to transfer between UCI to and from another university, are we able to use a Pell card since it's just for one person?
Okay, so for this one, I believe if they have a corporate card, usually I think that would be the best if it's for their, it's for a speaker in that case. So then this one, it would really depend on the vendor you're using. So we would need to see the quote for, usually I think if it's Best VIP, which is one of our common drivers that people use, then we can code for that for Best VIP. But for anything else, we would need to review ahead of time. So I hope that answers the question.
I believe so. We have one more question that was also answered in the chat. There have been instances with our events when we anticipate 100 people and book with outside transportation to accommodate the guest load. However, when registration launches, we are severely under our anticipated guest count to where it falls under covered services? Do we need to reach out again to covered services with the new numbers for the event? Or do we stay with the transportation vendor we are contracted with? Most of the time we pay a deposit. So Kyle answered that in the chat. If the transportation is between 4 and 40, then yes. We had a few other questions come in. What about international tours, transportation in and around the city to and from campuses?
Yeah, see that falls under tour guides, and I don't, like we said, tour guides and touring for the international tours is not something that transportation services provides. So that would not be a covered service. Is that correct, Brandon?
That's correct. Our drivers are not tour guides, and
Right.
they would not give a very good tour. So
Right.
I'm going to take
All right.
just 2 more questions and then we're going to stop the Q&A for now. If you have additional questions, please send us a ServiceNow ticket. Is there a decision tree in the works to help us navigate these various scenarios? There's not, but we will definitely work on one, Jenny. Last question is, so if the issue is with having people so if the issue is with having between 4 to 40 students, then should we plan our programs to be for over 40 people so that we don't have any issue with having a covered transportation vendor?
If it is students, then it won't fall under covered services anyways, because students probably are minors. But yes, if you have more than 40 people, then the covered services won't apply because transportation services won't provide those services. So
Students are not minors, they are adults now.
Okay, yeah, in that case, well, it depends which students. Oh, this is in UCI students. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, have more than 40 students, then you don't have to worry about covered services.
Okay,
All
again,
right.
if you have any additional questions, please send us a ServiceNow ticket and we will address all of those for you. We do have our guest speakers who are our platinum sponsors from Office Solutions. So I'd like to turn it over to them. Stephanie, if you can go to the next slide, please. And we will have them introduce themselves. We have Malin and we have Margot joining from Office Solutions today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doreen. We appreciate it. So I'm Maylin Roos with Office Solutions, as Doreen mentioned, and we have Margot Gonzalez as well. And just so that you know, the two of us are basically your go-to people at the UCI campus. One of the things that we're hoping to do today is be able to present Office Solutions to you. Many of you may have already worked with us on the Office product side. Most of you probably know us from one of our divisions called Blue Space Interiors with Ken Gordon, as Ken Gordon does a lot of the furniture on the UCI campus. And one of the things we wanted to be able to do today is to give you a little bit more information on Office Solutions, not only on the Office product side, but maybe on some of our lines of business that you may not be familiar with or haven't used in the past with us. So we're really excited to be able to have this opportunity to talk to all of you today. Again, my name is Maylin Roos. I've been with Office Solutions for about 24 years. I'm one of their directors of sales, work very closely with Margot with UCI, and I've overlooked UCI for probably as long as I've been with Office Solutions. So I've seen a lot of the changes, have met a lot of you through the years, especially at the vendor shows, and also through being able to service some of your departments. With that, I want to make sure Margot has an opportunity to introduce herself as well. So Margot,
thank you. Thank you so much, Maylin. I appreciate that. Yes, my name is Margot Gonzalez, and I'm so excited to be working with UCI as well. I have been actually with Office Solutions now for 20 years, been in the office supply industry for over 40. And I bring a lot of experience to this business. And I, again, look forward to meeting all of you at some point in time. And just looking forward to doing this presentation.
Oh, awesome. Stephanie, if you could go on ahead and advance. Okay, and we'll take it to one more, if you don't mind. Next one. Perfect. Thank you so much. So a little bit of background on Office Solution. One of the things for us is, as you probably may or may not know, we're one of the largest independent dealers on the West Coast. We have been in business for over 40 years. We're privately owned. And one of the things that we have been able to do successfully in the marketplace is position ourselves with a lot of diversification. And when I say that, it's because when we look at how we can partner and align ourselves, the reason that we've done a lot of focus on diversifying is because we want to make sure that we are being a partner with our clients on as many different levels as we possibly can. Our story of change kind of tells how we have done that, and starting from 1984. And as we progressed, what we started to do is we had a lot of different acquisitions within different lines of business. I think one of the things that I mentioned in the opening was, how do I bring to you a better overview of the different things that Office Solutions can bring to you outside of just office products, because that's what we're known for, right? And then a lot of you may know that side of us, and a lot of you definitely know the side of us that's all about blue space interiors and furniture, because you probably have experienced that. But let's talk a little bit about our different lines of business through, our print division, our facilities and maintenance, our break room division. And so what we want to be able to do in this time span is bring that story of change to you, the importance of why we've diversified that way, and how some of these things along the way can align with you. So for us, really, it's about innovation, being creative, and being able to be in step with what your needs are as UCI diversifies too, right? Because I think that probably every year you all experience changes in how you procure things and how you look for things. So how does Office Solutions support you? How can we support you moving forward? Okay, next slide. So a little bit about our core values. One of the things that I really admire about our core values is that this isn't just the way that we partner with our organizations outside of Office Solutions, but how we partner with ourselves as well. So if you notice, you'll see different pieces here about embracing change, giving back, promoting sustainability. These are pieces that we always want to make sure that we're aligning with our business partners, but also we hold ourselves in our organization accountable for doing not only these things in our organization, but doing it with you as well. So for us, striving to make sure that every day we're meeting specific needs, remembering to have fun along the way, right? And then being able to always make sure that we're committing to the customer, that what we are saying is what we are doing. But again, we bring that indoors to us because we want to make sure that we have that strength, not only within our four walls, but bringing it to our partners as well. All right, next slide. So again, just an overview, these are the different lines of business we have. So when we're looking at Office Solutions, it's how do we bring you the best program? And a program that is inclusive. So we talked a little bit about, office products. You've probably used us in that category. Obviously, office furniture through our Blue Space Interiors division, but we also have printing services. We have facilities, break room, and maintenance, and other subcategories that fall within that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and bring that kind of to the surface for you. Next slide. So here we talk a little bit about supply solutions for higher education. So with Office Solutions, you know, one of the things that we do is not only do we do business to business, but we're very strong in public sector. So when you're talking about municipalities, K through 12, anything like that that you can think of, we have a very strong hold in. One of the things that we're also extremely proud of is that we have been able to get into higher education. So when we're looking at something like a UCI campus, any kind of state campus, any kind of private education campus, we're being as granular, if you will, as possible as to how we can align different things. So we're looking at everything. When we're looking at your campus, we're looking at, you know, your departments of maintenance and facilities. We're looking at dormitories if you have dorms. We are looking at administration. How do we bring support to administration? How do we bring support even to your student? And all the different departments that you have within the campus. As you can imagine, that's not always an easy task for us. But one of the things that we try and do is be as proactive as possible. And we actually try to be on campus as much as we can, just doing a little bit of an outreach to each of your departments. So you'll notice that for us, being part of your vendor shows is a huge part of that, because this is where we're able to connect with all your different departments and get to know your different departments a little bit better. Next slide. So let's talk a little bit about facility and break room. Let's go on ahead and advance. Okay, Margot, is this you?
Yep, that's this. Let me get off my, yeah, here we go. Yes, that's me.
All right.
Okay, everyone. So the next few slides, as Maylin mentioned, we're going to go ahead and talk about the facilities, the maintenance, the first aid, and the break room supplies. So part of Office Solutions is diversifying our product categories so that we can bring more inclusive programs and solutions to our customers. These are just a few of the things that we can kind of bring to the table to you. And we're talking like gloves, liners, bathroom products, including the dispensers for the bathrooms and cleaning solutions and much, much more. We also partner with Kimberly-Clark and Georgia Pacific, as well as having specialists that can help in these specific categories and also align ourselves with OSHA requirements. So next slide. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is something that everybody knows about, and that is just like clean air. So we all know how important it is, especially during the flu season, cold season, and obviously we're still dealing with a little bit of the COVID, and also even allergies. So we know I have them as well, hay fever and so on. So it's always good to have good air quality for your students, your staff, employees, guests who are coming in. So one of the ways that we thought that maybe you might take a look at is our industrial purifier, which is this product here, which is the Aeromax. This unit you can put into classrooms, bathrooms, public spaces, conference rooms, and even into your lunchroom, because a lot of times you'll find where people are coming in and maybe they're heating up their foods from, different things, and all of a sudden you create the odor within the area there. So it also combats against odors. It has a carbon filter that's made out of, I believe it's coconuts, that combats that. So this particular machine also kills 99% of airborne germs, and also comes in 3 different sizes. So the small size is up to 300 square feet. Your medium size goes up to 700 square feet, and the larger size will go up to 1,400 square feet in a room. And if you like, this product can also be demoed out. We'd be more than happy to bring it out to you and provide you with a demo on site. Next slide. So this is the first aid supply. So this is kind of a sensitive, topic. So first aid, when we're talking about, unfortunately, in our environment, we have to deal with a lot of sorts of things. And one of them is shooting. So we have, the work shooting, we have schools, churches, and one of the things that we need to ask ourselves are we prepared? Are we equipped to prolong a life while we wait for first responders to come? And then I say only you can answer that question, right? Only we can, hopefully we are, but I think this is an area that really needs to be looked at. Our first aid supply categories can help with like bleed kits. We can do earthquake kits, AEDs, biohazardous kits. And we can also customize these kits to your liking, to whatever your needs are. So it's not a one size fits all type of a situation. So we can take a look at that if that is something that you may need. In addition, with the first aid kits, we also have the smart compliance first aid kits. And they're a little bit different than your normal standard first aid kits. These particular kits that we have are OSHA, well, actually I would say they maintain better for OSHA requirements and ANSI standards. They're more convenient for the refilling and managing your refills by a yellow smart tab that pops out when your product is halfway through the box. The yellow tab will pop out and it notifies you that, hey, this is maybe something that you're going to need to start thinking about reordering. Like a halfway point type of a situation. One of the other things is consistency of these smart kits, because it allows you to know where the product is and it allows you to know where to grab that product right from the cabinet. One of the things that's a great feature of this product is that it's innovated by a mobile app, and it's called the Safety Hub app, which allows you to scan a QR code right from the product on the box, or even if you pull out the box behind or it's adhered to the cabinet itself, but behind the box itself, there's another QR code. And it has also an item number on it with the code that you can take, so that you never have to worry if someone has grabbed that box and didn't replace the box or put the box back. You're not going to know what's there. This way, you're always going to know what exactly goes in that specific spot. So again, if this is something that you might be interested in the future, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to bring out demos to you of all different types of specific products. Next slide.
If I can add to that very quickly, Margot, if you don't mind.
Yes.
One of the things that and I think Margot kind of prefaced it with saying that it is a sensitive topic. It's a sensitive topic because unfortunately in our environment today, we are dealing with campus shootings and shootings in the workplace. And we do talk about a moment where, am I equipped in this moment to prolong somebody's life? This has become a huge issue, partially because Gavin Newsom has put through a bill that next year, any new building has to, by mandatory law, have these bleed control kits on each floor in a new construction. That really prompted us, we talk about diversification, right? It really prompted us to take a look at this a little differently within our facilities and maintenance category. And it's like, okay, so how do we bring this to anybody and everybody, right? Because it's not just about a new building. It's about existing buildings as well, existing schools and campuses. You may already have something in place, you may not. And Is it a huge investment? Absolutely. But we're seeing this become a huge investment with our K through 12 population. Even in our districts, we are seeing more and more of this type of kit become a requirement. So now we have districts that are saying we need them in every one of our schools and in every one of our classrooms in each school. So they're getting monies, right? Bond monies, grant monies, what have you. But again, something to think about, even in the workplace, we deal with a lot of companies, right? Private sector companies that have retail stores, whether it's a food chain or whether it's a clothing store, they are starting to bring these in. We're even putting them on public transportation buses. So again, something to think about, because it's all about how prepared am I to be able to prolong this person's, like my coworker, a student. So something to think about. And that's kind of how all this came into play, was because we were seeing the change, right, by the law forming through Gavin Newsom, but also we were seeing the change in the need and the reach out from school districts saying, we think we need to get on board with this. So again, something to think about. And if you have any questions on this, please, again, like Margot said, reach out to us. Not only can we come and demo it for you, we can bring you a sample so that you can kind of go through it and look and feel to see what the kit contains.
Exactly. And we can also bring additional literature as well. I can forward literature on that as well. So the next slide is our coffee. So this particular machine, so Office Solutions, the category of coffee is not new for us by any means, but this particular unit and Flavia is. So we wanted to kind of just introduce this specific brewer to you, and go ahead and go with the next slide. So we're really excited about this specific brewery. It's called Flavia. And one of the nice things about this specific unit, you know, it kind of goes up against like your Keurig machines, but it's very different, and it offers a more, I think, variety, and then the features itself are just more superior than I would think of a Keurig. But one of the nice things about this one is that there are no cross contaminations on this machine. It provides hot and cold with dairy and non-dairy drinks all in one system. So you don't need two separates, it's just all in one. Nice thing about this is that all of these packets are recyclable. When you look at your Keurig K-Cups, those are not recyclable. So if you are looking into recyclable products with your coffee, perfect solution for that. None of the coffee grinds, okay, are exposed to any oxygen or any open air. So what happens is that the coffee is as fresh as it can be from the time like when they actually put the product into the packets. So very fresh coffee on that. And it reduces also any disappearance of them, you know, walking off, or, you know, one of the things that Flavia doesn't do is that this machine isn't made for home use. So it'll help as well as cutting down, like I said, any disappearance of product. Next slide. So these are the different units that this particular brewer has. So you have your small one, which holds 35 to, well, does 15 to 35 drinks a week. Then you have your middle one, medium size, holding up to 80 to actually 35 to 80 drinks per week. And then your larger one, which is 80 to 200 drinks per week. The nice thing about these is, like the first one, I would probably say I would want to put that maybe in a conference room, maybe somebody's office. The second one, medium size, I'm saying anywhere probably around maybe 20 to 40 employees or so. Well, actually, I'm sorry, let me say, yeah, 20 to 40 employees. And a larger one, more like around 75 employees. The unit, the nice thing about this unit is because it does hot and cold, you can actually attach, it's called a cooler, like a freeze, it's a chill, and it actually cools down all of the water so that because the system does hot and cold, if you wanted to make a, you know, a latte of some sort, an ice cold coffee, you can actually do this. It takes about an hour once the unit is installed. It takes about an hour for the specific part of the unit to chill cold. And then after that, it just stays and remains cold all the time so that you can start making your iced coffees and so on. So this particular unit, like I said, it's a fantastic unit. I think everybody would like it. If you'd like to do a demo with it, we can most certainly do a demo in on site. We can also do a demo virtual if you like that as well.
And
Next.
to add to that as well, these units are lease free for you as long as you're buying all your product, of course, through Office Solutions. So we make sure that we have that program put in place for you.
Correct. Next slide. Again, so this side here kind of tells you a little bit about the unit again. So again, hot and cold, and it's an all-in-one system. It's very compact, so the footprint is very small. It fits in most spaces. It also does frothing, so you can use also, by the way, your own milk. If you're using, you know, oat milk, you're using whatever kind of brand of milk that you like. You don't have to necessarily buy the packets themselves. There's an area where well, actually what you do is you pour your own milk into the cup, then slide that in, let it froth, and then you'll put in the packet. And that's how you do it when you're doing it on your own. Otherwise, if you're going to use the actual packets of the dairy milk, there's the packet goes in, the machine froths it first, then it releases it done, and then you put in your next packet for the coffee portion of it, and then that's how it's done. The nice thing also with this has a really great technology screen on it. So it allows you to do many different things. It also will help you determine how much coffee you're drinking because it keeps track. It also tells you when the machine needs to be cleaned or maintained. So it's got a fantastic feature on that as well. Next slide.
And kind of in keeping a little bit, I guess, in the spirit of Office Solutions being innovative, being creative, this is what, as Margot had said, the coffee space isn't new for us. Flavia Lavazza is. And the reason we're bringing it on board was because one of the things that we were seeing was the need of better quality coffee. People were starting to move to like a, what do they call, Marco, what do they call that? Bean to cup, right?
Yes.
So these machines that are like, you know, you pour in the beans and it grinds it right there for you. And you get that like, you know, that amazing cup of coffee because it's fresh grounds. But there's such an investment into those machines. There's a lot of maintenance and cleanup. And as you can imagine, right, because you're putting in those those beans and it's grinding. And so for us, it was like, okay, so how do we, Keurig is fine, it's okay, but probably not for the person that really appreciates a really high quality coffee. So what's out there? What's the next best thing? So we did some research, came up with this, aligned ourselves with a vendor that brought this program to us. And so made sense to us. They did a demo. We were able to taste the coffee. Now we understand why it's starting to kind of take off. And we were like, okay, let's bring this to some of our end users that may want something like this. And what's nice is that it's on a different scale. You can have a smaller machine that's in your office or in a conference room, or even a larger one that, you know, it services more people in maybe a faculty room, right? A faculty break room or what have you. So I don't even know if those are still, is that even a thing still on a UCI campus? I don't even know. I don't think so. But anyhow, I'm thinking there's a place where maybe all faculty come together, but who knows, right? So, but anyhow, thinking along those terms. There you go, Margot. Sorry about cutting in
There
again.
we go. Did you have coffee already?
Well,
Ladies,
Maylin show.
Oh my gosh.
Malin and Margot, I just want to mention we are a little over time, so we have
Okay.
asked
Okay.
everyone to still stay on
Okay.
so we can finish up your presentation. But I saw you have a few more slides, so if we can try to get through those, and if anyone has
Rush
any
through those.
questions, yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
No worries, no
Absolutely.
worries. Let's just go to the next slide.
Let's get to the next slide.
Let's get to the
Absolutely.
next slide.
Is this me, Margot? Yep.
That's you, Maylin.
Okay, we can go to the next one. Awesome. I will get through these quickly for you. So one of our divisions, one of our lines of business that I do want to present to you is printing. In the past, UCI and Office Solutions have partnered in printing. I know there were some changes to how UCI wanted to do this, and so we kind of fell off of being able to do printing. But one of the things that we'd love to do is revisit this and see how we can, again, align ourselves to help with and support the printing efforts for your UCI campus. As you'll know on this slide, it shows you all the different things we can do. So of course, we're looking at anything that has to do from forms management, business cards, all that stuff, apparel, anything that you can think of, even things like promotional, anything that is promotional that you can think of, we can get done for you. If you want to advance, one of the things that I do want to point out to you that Office Solutions has and can offer to you is a storefront, a web storefront. We refer to the platform as UCI. We can customize it any way you need to have it. It can be used in multiple ways. It can be for students buying merch, the UCI merch. It can be for staff that maybe needs to wear uniforms. We would quote things, we would upload it up to your storefront. And again, it's customizable. The one thing that is really nice about our storefront is that you can purchase off the storefront in 3 different ways. It can be by bulk, it can be just by multiple quantities. I need 10 of these, 5 of these, or it can be by singles. And that's unusual sometimes to find on a storefront. You may need to go in and just replace maybe a shirt. And, you know, with the UCI logo on it, you can go on and you can just place an order for 1 shirt, 1 cap, whatever it is. So just so that you know, we have this web storefront available to you. Again, its uses are different depending on how you want to use it. There's a setup fee depending on how customizable you want it. It can be anywhere from $500 to $1,500. And typically, when you're setting up a storefront, it typically can run from $5,000 to $10,000. So again, we're trying to bring programs to UCI that make sense and that are also cost effective. We want to be cost effective partners with all of them. Next slide.
Okay, that's me. That's me. All right. So great. So we're going to talk a little about ergonomic products. As some of you may know, Contour was at the vendor show with us. And there was a lot of interest in these particular products that were at the vendor show. We had the balance keyboard, the laptop riser, we had the mouse, and it was the mouse, and then we also had well, actually the red mouse pad and then the Unimouse. So on the balanced, I don't want to go too into depth because I know that we're in a rush here, but on the one of the ones that I like the best, I think, is the laptop riser. It actually goes from 0 to 80 degrees. So it allows you to make sure that you're at eye level, so that your neck and your back eliminates any pain points as well. So this is an area where we would love to get into, and hopefully anybody who's interested to have us come out and maybe demo the product for you. We'd be more than happy to do that as well.
Absolutely. And just
Next
a little
slide.
add-on to any furniture you do, right? Because we know you all do furniture
Yes.
with Office Solutions Blue Space Interiors. So let us know if any of these is good for what you're looking for. I think this is me, Office Solutions.
That's you.
Online ordering system. I'm going to go through this very quickly. I know that all of you are on UCI Buy. We're on Punch Out. We're there for you. When you go to UCI Buy and you go Punch Out through Office Solutions, you know that you have a list of items there, pretty extensive, that have special pricing for UCI. We also understand that there may be things that are very unique to you and your department that may not be on that UCI Buy Punch Out. If that ever happens, please reach out to Margot or I. We will make sure that we design what we call a local core list for you. So it may be that you use, I don't know, purple file folders, but you can't find purple file folders on the UCI Buy Punch Out through Office Solutions. If that's the case, reach out to Margot. What we will do is we will take that specific product, we will make sure that we are pricing it out cost effectively as a UCI Buy product, and we will make sure that we are loading it as a local core list for you. So we can customize something for you and it will still align with your UCI Buy pricing, okay? So we just wanted to make sure that you know we can support you on that end. Next slide. Why we succeed, real simple stuff, guys. Just obviously free next day delivery. We have no minimum orders. I think you all know that just by some of you using Office Solutions. I would say that probably 74, 77% of our products, our orders are delivered before noon. We just make a real effort. It's incredibly important for us to make sure that we're always looking at how your business, how your organization is moving so that we can stay in step with you. We align ourselves to you to ensure that we're meeting your specific needs. You know, how do we build a program that's important for you? What we never want to do is say, this is Office Solutions business model, so you need to adapt to it. What we're able to do, because we're an independent dealer, because we have the flexibility, is sit and have a conversation with you and say, show me what your business model is like. Where do I need to adapt? Where do I need to be flexible? Collaborate with us. Office Solutions, you guys offer this. Could you do this for us? Is this a possibility? I can tell you that 9 out of 10 times we can say, absolutely, we can do this. So again, for us, it's understanding your business model, how we adapt to it, and how we can support you. Next slide. And one more. I'll have you go one more. Thank you so much. And this is just a little bit, again, about why Office Solutions. You know, the great thing about us is that we are in your backyard. So that makes it so easy for us to answer to anything that you need that's immediate. And especially with your size of organization, you don't always have the advantage of being able to wait for 3 days for an answer. So for us, it's about the fact that we are in your backyard. We are an Orange County business. We're here to support our Orange County partners. How do we do that? How do we support you? Customer service is local, sales is local. So what's nice is that we have this team that is built around specifically UCI. So it's not only the people in our division with office products and these different lines of business, but then you've got Ken Gordon on the Blue Space Interior side. And we work as a team. We have specific people in customer service that only handles UCI. So again, we're integrated into this team so that we can be supporting you along the way. So just some things for you to think about when you're thinking about Office Solutions, when you have a question of like, I wonder if they can do this. I wonder if they have this capability. Reach out to us, because I can pretty much tell you confidently that 9 out of 10 times we can find the product you're looking for and bring it to your doorstep for you. So keep us in mind. I know that we have limited time, questions and answers, but Doreen, if down the line anybody does have any questions, they can email it to us. We're happy to answer them.
Thank you. We have Barbara from UCI By
Oh,
raising her
look.
hand.
Hi, Barbara.
Hey,
Hi,
Barbara, how are you?
good, thanks. Nice presentation.
Thank
I have a
you.
craving for coffee now.
Right? I feel the
It's late in the
same.
day. I just wanted to mention it, you may be aware of when we refer to a punch out, it's usually an instantaneous catalog. Keep in mind, UCI has a static catalog, a hosted catalog with you all.
Yes.
And so I just want to make sure that the campus here is aware that if something is added, we need to test to make sure that's really available because I know you guys update your catalog X
Correct.
times a year. It's not instantaneous. So
Correct.
just
Correct.
making you aware of that, managing expectations. But I really appreciate you being responsive to the campus and their needs and being willing to adjust pricing, et cetera. So it's all
Absolutely.
good. I just wanted to clarify.
Thank you. No, I
Mhm.
appreciate that. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Barbara.
Mhm.
Next slide, please, Stephanie. And thank you so much, Malin. And um,
So welcome.
yeah, thank you
Absolutely.
both, Margot. Sorry for joining us today. Do we have any questions for our guests? Please feel free to enter it in the chat or go ahead and unmute yourself. And thank you for everyone who stayed on. We really appreciate that.
Thank you all so much. We
Thank you,
appreciate your
everyone.
time. Anything we can do, let us know.
All right, I guess we don't have any questions. So if you have any specific questions, please reach out directly to our guests. I do want to just make a quick note that we have resources available on the slide deck. You can go ahead and click on all those. Next slide, please. And if we can have you please fill out the survey for our presentation and our training session today. It will help us improve for future training sessions as well. Thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great
Bye-bye.
day.
Thank you guys very
Bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye.